Hansel, the Handgens question. Hello, my name is Byron Spinks. I'm just outside of Tuckkwiowhum village in the North Bend area. We're out on the land today, and we're going to do some foraging and harvesting some of our traditional foods. But first of all, I'd like to caution people that when you're out on the land, wear the proper attire, boots, have gloves, have a lot of water with you at all times to keep hydrated. Today we're going to look at stinging nettles. We might look for some morel mushrooms, and also we'll check out the Indian celery in this area. So we're in the North Bend area, so it's as you can see, the environment here is quite wet. We're close by a creek here, so we should find some morels here. We have a lot of stinging nettles here for sure. We can see them outright, and some of the equipment that we use, and we should be very careful on how we harvest stinging nettles. We must have wear gloves to prevent the nettles from stinging you, and also we use scissors or a knife when you're picking these stinging nettles, because it's a good way of pruning the plants, and they can continue to grow if you cut the tops off and the tender spots off. So today we're going to do that, and hopefully we can find a good harvest today, and we'll share that with you as we go along. So we'll be on the trail shortly. As you can see, the stinging nettles are at just the right height for harvesting. We have this is about a foot and a half, and we usually take the tops off and use the tops and continue to enable the plant to continue to grow as the season goes on. The season for the stinging nettles is quite long. It starts off early in the lower mainland and the Hope area, and right now we're just at the right time, and this is in end of April. So at the beginning of April they start off in the Hope area, but it depends on the elevation of the land. We're at the right elevation right now to harvest this, and we harvest it, and we can use it in many ways for our food. So we can blanch it and freeze it, or else we can steam it and use it as a side dish with our traditional foods, our meats and our salmon. So this is a stinging nettle, and we're going to harvest this today. Thank you.
One day was 60 bags of this and froze it all, and I gave it away all to the elders after.
Okay, this is a rosehip bush that we're fortunate to find here amongst the stinging nettles, and we use the rosehip for ceremonial purposes, for cleansing homes. After one passes away, we'll brush a home out with the rose, or else we'll place the roses above the doorways to prevent any negative spirits from entering the home. It's a protection for the loved ones that are here, and it's a way of honoring our deceased loved ones that have passed on. So this is a rosehip bush, and it's not flowered yet, but it will be, and we will harvest some of it sometime in the future. Later on in the season, we're going to talk about our harvest sage. Sage grows in different areas of our nation. In the Boston Bar area, we've transplanted buffalo sage here, and it's taken quite well, and it's quite healthy plants coming up in the village, and we'll be checking those out later on in the season. But as we go up the Fraser Canyon, up in the Lytton area and Spencer's Bridge area, that's more drier land, we have another type of sage called high mountain sage, and that's the ones we use mainly for ceremonial purposes. It's some of the other traditional uses. The female sage, the softer ones, are used by the women for their menstrual periods, for example. But we'll be taking groups out to harvest sage soon, and we'll keep you involved. And Linda will be accompanying us, and other elders from the Boston area will be heading up to the Spencer Bridge area. And the first traditional food that we'll be harvesting would be the bitterroot. It's harvested with asparagus. We're in a small asparagus field right now in North Bend. This is one sample of the environment that asparagus grows in. Normally they're near water sources, but out here it's an open field and you can see the clusters of asparagus around here. So we'll be showing pictures of that in our area. We're not going to tell what the sites, but the locations.
Yeah.
It's a secret to all of us that we all have our own little areas that we pick. We call them little patches, and that's how we manage our foods, and we don't overpick our traditional foods or medicines. We just pick what we need, and then we move on, and that's everybody has their own little patch. So, but in some areas where it's really abundant, communities will come in groups and harvest their needs, and then they leave. So there's many plants to be picked this season, so we'll be doing that throughout the summer. And June will be really busy for us this year, so we look forward to seeing you.
Linda, what was the sage you were going to pick with Teresa? Was that for ceremony or for smoking?
Ceremony one.
Smoking?
Teresa Walker.
Yeah. And how is it different from?
I don't know. This is going to be my first time. Actually, I went with her once, Teresa Walker, but I can't remember. But she does it every year, so she bundles them.
Yeah, we dry them and bundle them. We bundle them up and then we dry it, and that's the best way to do it. And that's for ceremony purposes, we light them up, and it provides a really nice aroma. Some people are allergic to it, such as sweetgrass, but we're very careful on how we use it, and we let people know what we're going to use beforehand. So,
What's the best place to get sweetgrass?
Sweetgrass, we have sweetgrass right at Tuckkwiowhum Village. It's not part of our traditional plants in this area. It was imported from the prairies. From our sweetgrass was imported from Saskatchewan, and so we're trying to grow it, and it's come along quite nice, and we'll be harvesting that late in August. And we'll be making our sweetgrass braids with it, and it'll be part of a workshop we'll have with students throughout the summer if COVID-19 permits it.
Outdoor.
It'll be an outdoor event.
Yeah.
Next fruit that we were going to harvest probably in early June would be the black caps, or the mitchuk. We call it mitchuk. It's almost like a raspberry type of fruit. And it's black or dark purple, some are red, and some are yellow. And we harvest it, we make jams out of that, and it goes really good with bannock, that's all I can say.
Yeah, pancakes.
Pancakes.
Can you make a black cap pie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can make pies out of it. It's Linda's probably the expert in making pies.
I made a few. I find it too seedy though. But it's still good. I got a lot of jam yet.
But jams are the most common, and we freeze it also, so we put it on ice creams. And I've tried mixing it with Indian ice cream, but the sweetness doesn't really come through. We still have to add a bit of sugar to it. But huckleberries and black caps are mixed with Tuckkwiowhum, or Indian ice cream, and so it's we're experimenting in many ways on how we can share it. So we'll be doing that this summer also as the season comes along, and we'll harvest every plant and fruit we can do this year. Hands up. When we're out foraging for traditional foods this time of the year, I think we should let people know that to be careful out in the woods. There's wood ticks are out at this time of the season. They're abundant this year, so every time you're out in the woods, when you get home, please check yourself, and or have someone check you on your back where you're unable to see. It's very a good practice to follow. Wood ticks are not dangerous when they're caught early, but if they start to get into your body, then that's when you have some concerns and try to remove them. So you may need some medical help or a professional to help you with that. But wood ticks is out everywhere, so be careful out here. We're in the Nlaka'pamux area right now, and we're harvesting some Indian celery. It's this is a very small location here that we found in the Nlaka'pamux area on the west side of the Fraser. So the Indian celery has a long stem, a long root. These are not flowering yet, but when they flower, they will seed, and there's many uses for the plant. Initially, we can boil them, steam them, and mix them with our rice or any meats that we have on hand, if it's traditional moose or deer meats. we can mix it with those, add it as a side dish for many of our foods here. So it's a very popular dish in the Lytton area. For the Boston Bar area, stinging nettles are more popular than the Indian celery. But we still harvest a lot of the celery up in the Lytton area. Depending on the elevation, the season can go right into June, and we'll be harvesting that. And I'll be taking some elders in that area probably in mid-June, because the elders like the Botany Valley. It's a very pristine valley, and they always like to see all the flowers that grow in that area. So it's a good trip for our elders to get out into the woods, to link with the roots of the nation and harvest some of our foods. And at the same time, we'll be looking at Spring Beauty, the Indian potatoes. They'll be ready at the same time as the Indian celery is up in that area. So it's going to be a very good trip in June. But for now, we're just having the first taste of Indian celery, and it's a good introduction. And we hope to see you sometime this summer. Hopefully COVID-19 will permit us to have you come out and visit us and join us in some of our trips. Homo.